Welcome to the Sip Off, where we have drinks and talk everything sports. As you could tell, I am hosting today. The incomparable Megan Price needed a break, and I'm gonna hold it down. But we had a jam-packed show for you all tonight. Gonna talk NBA playoffs, play-ins, seedings, matchups, WNBA draft, hopefully. And we are going to bring it as only I can bring it. And Megan is definitely the Johnny Carson to my David Letterman. So we definitely gonna get it going. But first, I'm gonna bring in a couple of my guest appearances. Mr. Joseph Jenkins is first on the list. How you doing, sir?
Doing all right, man. How are you?
How was your week?
Week is going good, man. I have no complaints. How about you?
Okay. I mean, I'm glad you got the little fresh cut. We in there.
You know what I mean? You do the fresh cut, so how you doing?
Listen. We gonna make it do what it do. Ain't that what Ray Charles said?
You had a good week as well?
Busy, always busy, always
Busy is
busy.
good.
All right, we got to get our next guest in here, Mr. Cool McCain. How you
What
doing,
it do?
sir?
What it do?
How you been?
I'm better now, man.
Hey,
Better
man,
now.
I'm glad you come from the cover of darkness.
I got the
You're not
semi
Ray
light right
Charles
now.
anymore.
You come from the
Yeah, I
cover
got
of
the
darkness.
semi light right now. You know what I'm saying? We ain't all the way back, but we semi light right now.
You know, listen.
On your way, man.
You getting there? We gonna get there. Courtney, she had to take a break. I have hosting duties, hosting duties. It's rare, like a solar eclipse. But y'all, how y'all feel about this NBA play-in, man? These play-in games. As you seen the first one, Brooklyn came out
I mean,
gunning. Brooklyn came out gunning. They played Cleveland. They won 115-108. They got the 7th seed. Um, they're gonna play the Celtics in the first round. The Celtics actually won the season series 3-1. And in their last matchup of the regular season, Jason Tatum had 54 and Kevin Durant scored 37. And Boston won that game 126-120. So, what y'all think? What y'all think about this first game, first round matchup? Hey, oh God, the Crypt
the
Keeper
devil himself
himself,
has arrived.
the Crypt Keeper.
Wow, I get the Crypt Keeper and the Devil. Would you like to take any shots, Joseph?
The Crypt Keeper himself.
I will, best Dom.
My bags
Hey,
aren't that bad today,
Courtney,
are they?
autocorrect works, Courtney. Fox your
Not bad.
face.
So, man, I'll hop
To
off.
the conversation.
Yeah, I'll hop
What
off.
would you say?
For me, it was never a doubt that Brooklyn was the best of the playing teams. They really shouldn't be there. I've said all along, they got at least to the play-in. They're going to be a problem for whoever they face in the first round.
Right.
So they've done what they're supposed to do. They've gotten the 7th seed, which I anticipated. So now if you're Boston, get ready. And everybody else, get your popcorn ready. It's going to be a good series. This is a 7 that can beat a 2. You know what I'm saying? So be ready. This is going to be a good series. I believe Brooklyn's going to win this series.
Okay.
I echo the same as Cool. I think what I will say is a difference maker is going to see how healthy Seth Curry is because, we have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They're going to get their 20 plus. But if Seth Curry can give you at least 15 to 16, it'll offset what Marcus Smart will be bringing to the team. But I do like the inside presence of Andre Drummond with them not having Robert Williams. I think, like you said, they're the clear-cut best 7 seed team. They're a team that really could be a 4, a 5, or a 6 seed. And I honestly think, this is not strange territory for them. They've been undermanned in series, and they were one toe away from beating the defending champs, which does not scream to me somebody that can't get it done in the first round. I think it's going to be a great series, and I do have Brooklyn in 7.
Brooklyn in 7. What about you, Dom? How you feel about it?
Obviously, we know the deal with Brooklyn. I was actually talking to somebody yesterday. Where do you think Brooklyn finishes if Kyrie takes the vax and they play all year? They're probably like a 1, a 2 at the worst, right?
I don't think so.
I don't think they're that high.
No,
I'll say 3. I'll say 3.
I don't think
Nah,
so.
because Durant still got hurt, and that's the piece. You can talk about
they would have kept
Kyrie
Harden.
and Harden and whoever else.
Kevin
The
Durant
piece
stays.
is
Well,
Durant.
I was gonna say Kevin Durant stays hurt like I stay skinny, but he stays skinny like me too.
Yeah, he does.
But the thing about the whole thing about the vaccination part is, I think, because I don't. What's bothered me about this is I don't know which reports are true, because it was reported that Harden didn't like that Kyrie wanted to be vaccinated because he was going to play half of the time. So if you factor that in and he was vaccinated, does Harden actually leave, or does the report saying that Harden didn't like the harsh words from Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving what's really real? Like, if we had a clear-cut idea of what was what, it would give a better determination. So I'll say it like this: if Harden, Kyrie, and KD in this world were able to play for the entire year, I do see a 3 seed with them because they were 16-3 together.
I think now that I think about it, I think the real reason that Harden left was because when KD's healthy and when Kyrie's playing, Harden's third banana, in my mind at least. And
Agreed.
It's been a long time, like almost 10 years since he's been a third banana, correct? In Houston, he was the guy. They made the playoffs every year.
He had them early
They
OKC flashbacks.
never went anywhere.
He didn't want that.
It's funny because in my mind, he's not. I mean, not even in my mind. In reality, he's not the guy in Philly right now either. I mean, Embiid's either an MVP or a top 3 candidate.
But to your point,
I think it's actually a better situation for Harden because he might not realize it or want to admit it, but when he's the guy, that does not translate to team success.
But
preach, sir.
They have questions about him as a 2 guy, as a second commander of the Philadelphia 76ers now. Not necessarily because when they play lesser competition like the Magic, the Pacers, or whatever, Harden will drop his usual 27 and 10. It's
right.
When you're facing these teams that you need to beat that Harden kind of becomes a backseat, and they can't rely on Tobias Harris because he doesn't show up typically, and I think he gets bodied a lot of times against these premier power forwards. And then Tyrese Maxey, I think in his mind, he believes he's the third option, so he'll never go after his when there's opportunities for him to get his. Like, if Joel Embiid is getting triple teamed in the paint, that is perfect for Tyrese Maxey to cut and attack the basket, but he doesn't always do that.
Oh,
But you know why though?
My guy.
What?
I agree with what you said.
Tyler gets a round of applause. I get called the devil himself and the crypt keeper. I see how it is.
Dom, are we not boys? Stop playing.
Hey, Dom,
Right.
you know we cool, bro.
I'm just playing. I'm just mad that I'm going to get recognized as the devil. Now I gotta.
Let's look at the.
I gotta
Bulls
change
logo
my
for
disguise.
Tyler ain't trying to talk about these playoffs.
Moving forward to this.
One last thing I wanted to say about James Harden. The book has been written about playoff James Harden. He shrinks like Costanza's dick after he went swimming.
All I say is I've been saying for years, Harden playoffs equals unsuccess. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna happen until he shows me differently.
Dominic.
We don't believe in him.
Moving forward.
Just want someone to see
I'm just gonna walk all
minute.
over the comment. I'm just
And they
saying,
go in the post game, and he's like, "There was shrinkage."
Oh,
Listen to
God. Oh, God.
That's why I'm just
Mute Dominic.
I'll mute myself.
I knew it was
I mute myself.
Minnesota Timberwolves played the
Dom,
Los Angeles
just for the
Clippers.
record, just for the record, for Dom being a straight guy, he talks about dicks more than like anyone I know.
Oh God.
You know how long I've been wanting to say dick on the air?
Oh God. None of that.
Look at Kyle Paul, my dude Kyle Paul tuning
this
in.
Is gold.
KP.
But
gold.
how y'all feel?
He
How
said
y'all
the
feel
D
about
word
that?
more than the gay people. That is amazing.
How y'all feel about that Timberwolves Clippers matchup that the Timberwolves ended up winning 109-104?
They showed me a lot. given the fact that Cat was in foul trouble for majority of the game, and he had the matchup, he had a lesser competition at center. But Anthony Edwards looks like a guy that wants to prove himself in the playoffs this coming year. And I do agree with Reggie Miller and Kevin Harlan. D'Angelo Russell is the X factor. If he's able to give you 17, 4, and 9, or a double-double between points and assists, that team becomes a very difficult matchup. And I don't really agree with the people getting on them because they're celebrating like they won or whatever, because Ray Lynn made a good point. They ain't been to the playoffs in who knows how long, and they've been known to be a part of the playoff utility. So for you to get there, and because most people proclaimed that the experience of the Clippers should have won, and you were pushed aside and you were the better seeded team, I give them credit for that, but I think it's going to be a very good series.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw him send that earlier. My dude Kyle Paul in the comments tonight. I love it.
Is he related to Jake Paul?
Kyle, I appreciate him.
Is he related to Jake Paul?
Definitely
He's not.
Definitely.
No,
I hope not.
But
Two of them is enough.
Kyle Paul.
But
I don't
fun-
think I know Kyle Paul.
Okay, all right. So Kyle Paul is on Cage Ragers with
I was
me,
gonna say,
Joe,
here
and Kobe.
Cage Rager crony.
But he did go to OU, Ohio University, where Jake Paul was going to at the time. So people, and his dog is named Jake, which is really ironic.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Jake Paul
He
went to
named it-
college.
Well, salute to you,
he
Kyle.
dropped out. He dropped
No.
out afterwards, but
I was
he
gonna
partied
say,
there.
I don't know if any of y'all have ever been to Athens, Ohio. What a shithole.
Only Columbus and Cleveland and Akron.
Definitely.
Akron's
And,
nice.
and,
So,
and as
I'm,
a whole, Ohio gets a lot of hate. Like I enjoy it. I love going to Cleveland. Cincinnati
I'm gonna
is
jump
one
back
too.
on a topic, gentlemen, and I'm simply say, when you look at this game, it was really a toss-up. I expected the Clippers to win the game, but I'm not
Logan.
surprised that you know what I'm saying, they lost the game just simply because Anthony Edwards, really good player, right? Karl Anthony Towns. You got a team that really hadn't been to the playoffs in a while trying to get there. You got Chris Paul trying to reacclimate to the team. The Clippers have always been up and down. Playoff P is always up and down.
Playoff P.
So when you nickname yourself, you got to be nice with it. And
Yeah.
he hadn't been.
He
there.
was nice though that last game. He had over 30 and was keeping them in the game. I have to.
Yeah,
I
but
give him.
Kawhi didn't even play though, did he? Or did he?
Nah, Kawhi didn't play. You don't have to give. So here's the thing: if you're Chris Paul, if you're Paul George, and you're getting 30 points in that type of game, and your team still loses, I don't have to give you any props.
Well,
Because
they
he didn't do
weren't
enough to
really,
make the
they
team
weren't
win.
really being. Nolan Powell had 14 points in the first half and had 2 in the second half. Only took like 4 shots. That's not exactly on Paul George if he's not
But
moving
it's
around.
on him. It's on him to pick up the scoring because isn't he supposed to be the guy until Kawhi gets back? So if he needed 40,
he's
Name
he
a
gave him
person
40.
that can really do it
supposed
by
to be the guy.
himself. Have you not?
He should
seen
be
But he has-
arguably the
he
guy
has
even
other
when
people
Kawhi
because-
plays.
Right, but I'm saying he has other people that put up points. It's not like everybody else put up 6 points and he put up 70.
He
I
just
didn't,
appeared
I
in
didn't
the
see,
second
I
half.
didn't see
He
any
should
of
be
the
able to do
game.
more.
What did
He should be able
what
to
did,
do more.
what did Reggie Jackson do?
But 2 in the second half. That doesn't make
Because
any
you weren't
sense.
getting the shots. But you did
What
have 14 in the first
No,
half.
you saw it. He
See,
was in
you
the
want to
ball,
blame
but he was-
everyone but the person who should have done more, and that's Paul
at the
George.
end of
He's the
day,
guy.
I'm not sitting
He
there saying
deserves the
excuse him,
blame.
but I'm not going to sit there and act like it was just Paul George as the demise of the team when Nolan Powell had clear lanes to the basket, but he kicked it out to motherfucking Paul George when he should have.
Why didn't he kick it out to Paul George?
Huh?
Why did he kick it out to Paul
He's the
George?
guy.
Because
But
Paul George
again,
is supposed to be what?
Name a player that's done it by
Paul George is
himself.
supposed to
That
be
was
what?
Dallas Mavericks' problem with Dirk Nowitzki for a long time.
Paul George was supposed to be what?
Paul George is not. He
Man.
can't do it by himself. So I'm not
Thank
going
you,
to sit
Jahan.
here and give him a cute thing. Why is your team so good? Because Jokic knows other people need to get involved and step up, which is Bones Highland.
But when
and
we
things like
need
that.
buckets, who drops 30 to
And
40
again,
points?
Paul George
Huh?
was giving buckets. He just wasn't having nobody else.
But he
trying
didn't
to
give
get
enough buckets.
You
And that's
can't
not
make
true.
him see. You
That's
can't
not
put it
true.
all-
Other people
you can't
got
put it
buckets.
all on him. You can't put
They
it
didn't
all
score.
on
They
him.
didn't score 35 points. So
He
other
You
scored-
can't
people
put it
up
all
points.
on him.
He had
You can't put
34
it all
points.
on
What
him.
more
Most
do you
of it
want
on
from
him.
him?
All right,
And
go
I'm
to
like
another-
45.
go to
on
another
him.
series. Go to another series.
45.
Okay. Yeah, that's not enough from playoff Reggie.
I haven't
As
even
much as I
talked
don't
yet.
like Reggie
I haven't even
Jackson,
talked
But it's
yet.
not playoffs yet.
I'm just
This
listening.
ain't playoff. This isn't playoff Reggie. This is play-in Reggie. He's not the same.
As much as it pains me,
playoff
right
play, and
there,
it wouldn't
Tyler,
exist.
Tyler, don't be rushing us.
It wouldn't exist if if LeBron wasn't a Laker and a fringe playoff team.
But
As much as
I
it
will be
pains me to talk
quiet
about this
so
next
Cool can
game,
continue to make his point.
the
I'll be
Charlotte
quiet.
Nah,
Hornets.
I'm just messing. I'm
the
just
Charlotte
messing.
Hornets. Will Vogel, shout out to you, man. You held it down as a true Hornet the whole year, even when
Yeah,
I
he
have
did.
swayed. Our Charlotte Hornets got
Sweet.
demolished again in a playoff in a play-in game this year. Lost last year by 27.
Yo.
Lost this year by 29 in the 9-10 play-in game. Got absolutely crushed in the third quarter. I think the Hawks had 41 in the third quarter. Just absolutely unreal.
Don't be gassing them up, Denzel.
I don't
And-
need gas.
And our fellow colleague Nate Frost Anderson, I would rather I almost would rather lose to Duke than lose to Nate.
I feel you.
Now that's
Dude,
tough.
I go into
I keep
hiding.
that to
I go into
yourself.
hiding when the Hawks play the Pistons,
I
unless
keep
we
that
beat
to
them. Then
yourself.
I'm talking all sorts of shit.
I never like to lose to Nate Anderson. He definitely let you know it. Shout out
And
to
Mark
Nate.
and Mark Owens doesn't.
Shout out to Nate on this win. Congratulations to the Atlanta Hawks for moving on to face the Cleveland Cavaliers on Friday. Definitely shout out to the Hawks on what they were able to accomplish.
I mean, let's call it. They were
Trae
on
Young.
fire. They were on
Miles
fire.
Bridges was not nearly as involved as he should have been. Because remember a few weeks ago on the show when I said Miles Bridges would be Charlotte's X Factor? You can't be an X Factor when you only take 11 shots, and then you've got Rozier 8 of 22, Lonzo 7 of 25.
Did he get ejected?
I was talking. Who?
Who was he
Bridges.
fighting? Who was he trying to fight?
Oh,
He
I
threw
must
his
have missed that
mouthpiece.
part.
He threw his
His
mouthpiece at a
hit
fan,
girl.
and he ended up hitting the little girl.
Oh.
That-
I mean, he was probably frustrated because
He lost his composure for sure.
his two teammates were, I believe the phrase goes, colder than a witch's tit in a brass bra. And they're still just jacking up shots. I was talking to Jem Matthews Lewis in the third quarter, and I said, either somebody needs to get hot, or you need to start having a better shot selection because Lonzo was not hitting shots. Rozier, other than for a brief moment in the third quarter, was not hitting shots. And you can't have two guys out there thinking that they're Kobe and they're going to shoot their way out of a slump.
Tyler, what do you think?
Jahan made a great point. Go ahead, Tyler. I'll let you go first, bro.
I think the Hornets have front court issues. Personally, I think that's been kind of ailing them all season. They obviously got to address that in the off season, whether you do it in the draft or whether you go out there and you sign or trade for someone. But I think they have front court issues. They don't rebound very well. That's an issue with the Hornets.
That is
Yes.
And that's hard. And that's hard against like a Hawks team who shoots a lot. You know, that's a shooting team in Atlanta.
And a much better rebounding team.
I kind of thought Atlanta would win, and I kind of think they're going to win again. You know, I just think I think Atlanta's one of those teams that, not to be mean to Nate, but I think they kind of underachieved this season.
No, they absolutely did.
That's not being
Absolutely
mean. They
did.
absolutely
They
underachieved.
absolutely did.
So
I feel like being mean would be saying they overachieved.
Yeah, I thought Atlanta probably was going to be like a 4 or 5 seed, maybe even a 3 seed this year. It didn't work out that way. But you know, I tip my hat to them. They definitely did their job last night.
Tyler, look at these two front runners in the top left corners, both wearing red shirts. One with a Yankees hat, one with a Braves hat. Since when are you a Braves fan? Cool.
Apparently, you know nothing about me.
wow.
Maybe you need to pay more attention. I thought we were cooler than that now.
Baseball season just started, and me and you have never talked baseball. So in that
That's
aspect,
true.
yes,
But
I know nothing about you in baseball.
Yeah, but I have been on several different shows talking about how the Braves are the reigning and defending champs.
To be honest with you,
Exactly, front runner.
Given what Atlanta
kidding,
did last
but I'm not kidding
year
at all.
with the playoff experience, taking down a superior seed and like the Philadelphia 76ers to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, if they make it as the 8th seed, I honestly could see them taking Miami to 7 games and could have a very good chance of being an 8 seed, upsetting a 1 seed, because this team, when they're on fire, and they're very difficult to stop. And Capella being that bully in the paint, being able to get those rebounds, like he absolutely murdered every person on Charlotte's team. Didn't matter if it was Bridges, Plumlee, Harrell, PJ Washington. He was yanking dudes and doing what he wants to do. And what I will say is, I told people when that trade happened for Montrezl Harrell, it's not going to work, because the simple fact of the matter is, when
What up, Sam?
when you're trying to make a comeback and you're trying to get into the game, Montrezl Harrell checks out. Montrezl Harrell was yelling at Jaden McDaniels while he made a mistake on the defensive play. And when you're trying to make a comeback, that type of stuff is not going to help your team in the situation that you're in. And I think Atlanta saw that. They saw that the Hawks were getting defeated, and they just went for the kill shots. And Bogdan, Gallinari, Hunter, Young, they were just hitting shot after shot after shot after shot. And you could see the flailing of the arms and all this stuff, which is semblance of a young team. They got to understand that it goes in waves. It's momentum. You can come back, but you cannot let the waves of the game affect you the way it did for Charlotte yesterday.
Right.
Well, bottom line is simply this: the names you talked about are not bigs. They're not true bigs. Montrezl Harrell is a backup 4. You know what I'm saying? They don't have bigs that are quality that can play. You can't beat NBA teams if you can't get big on teams. Atlanta has guards, shooting guards that are 6'7". You got Terry Rozier out there trying to guard guys that big. You know, you got LaMelo Ball out there trying to, make up for some of those deficiencies as far as height. The thing is, Charlotte has got to get bigger. They've got to look at this draft. They've got to look at free agency, and they got to say the same thing I say about the Eagles, Jahan, and I think you agree with me on this as well. I say the Eagles need like 2-3 more steel wide receivers. The Hornets need like 3-4 bigs.
I tried to ask Jahan.
You look at your team and basically say,
ignored me.
We don't have bigs. If you're Charlotte, we don't have bigs. We need to go get some. Giving up a lot of assets to go get a guy like Miles Turner is not going to benefit you long term.
I don't think you're going to give up too many assets for him.
He's one asset. You need to get 3 to 4 bigs on this team.
But I don't think you're giving up too much to get Miles, because
I think you would have to
him out.
But you would have to give up more than he's realistically worth.
Yes, you would.
So
and Indiana's already made their choice on who they wanted, and they've kept him.
Who else is out there?
Well, hold on. There's cheaper options out there. Like you can go out there and get like an Andre Drummond, who's a double machine, who can rebound the ball. That might work for for the Hornets. So
unless he signs with the Nets again.
I mean, possibly, but to Cool's point, if you're bringing in 3 or 4 bigs in there, you try and get guys who can rebound the ball. That's what you want.
Yes.
That's what the Hornets are struggling at.
Rebound defense.
Yeah, and Andre Drummond, regardless of whether you like him or not, Dom, he's a double machine. That's what he does. So
struggles to get his 10. He'll get you.
I would take him on the Bulls. I'll tell you that. I would take him on the Bulls.
Shoot, I'd take him on the Nuggets.
Cheap ass option that can rebound the ball.
Yeah, I'll say this: if Boogie Cousins gets on the market, go after Boogie.
He ain't getting on the market.
I think Drummond could do some work here. Anybody's better than what we got right now.
I think so too.
And I'm very disappointed in Kelly Oubre. Very disappointed.
Yeah.
I forgot he was still playing.
All right.
Wow, I did. I'm not even trying to be funny. I really did forget.
Last match
he disappeared, bro.
I forgot that Harrell played for the Hornets. I was watching the game. I'm like, oh damn, they got Montrezl Harrell. Oh, he ain't doing shit.
Go ahead, Jahan. What's the last matchup?
The Pelicans and the Spurs.
All right. Well, I am stoked for CJ. I'm sorry, Megan. I am sorry. I listen. I respect the Spurs, and I know Megan had a hard time last night, but I was in the comments last week on the sip-off saying, I'm picking the Pelicans. I got to ride with CJ on this one. And CJ did his thing.
He definitely showed out. What do you have in the first half? 27? 27 in the first half?
27, yeah. 26, I think. But, yeah.
So you mean to tell me, Tyler, that CJ said, "Oh, everybody else is not scoring. I'm the guy. Let me go score." That's what you mean to tell me happened.
Kinda.
Makes sense.
To be honest with
kinda.
you,
Makes sense.
to be honest with
Makes
you,
sense.
Keldon Johnson had a very bad game. If he
He
had
did.
even a better game, that game would have been closer. Because when I was looking at, of course, you guys know I do sports betting and pick 'em parlays, whatever. I was looking at the top two
No,
scores
you
to
do?
be.
Oh man.
I know, right? Crazy. I know.
I had no idea.
I was thinking that Keldon Johnson and DeJounte Murray were going to be the leading two scorers over 20 points for the Spurs to have a chance to show up. Keldon was had a very bad game. And the matchup was unfortunate because
They don't have no damn bigs either.
Jonas Valanciunas. Jonas Valanciunas.
Proto.
He's all right. He's all right.
But that's the point. Jonas Valanciunas owns Jakob. He owns him. Jakob had 4 rebounds and Jonas had like 11 before he started getting another 4. And it's like that offensive rebounds, that ability to punk you in the paint was the difference maker. I knew CJ was going to go off. And I think CJ is kind of like a James Harden to the Oklahoma City, where he's a scorer, but he's also a facilitator.
Paul George to the Clippers.
Ingram. And so, like, I expected the Pelicans to kind of show up, but I was very disappointed in Keldon Johnson from not coming up.
I will say CJ fits so well there, you know? Like what the Pelicans are doing for the future is good because CJ really fits there. I thought that was a great move for them.
Yeah, that's for you, Denzel.
Move. I'm just glad he finally got out of Dame Lillard's shadow with his bum ass. He's not a bum.
Hold on. Time out.
Here we go.
He's not a bum. I immediately regretted saying that.
I was gonna say, yo.
Here we go.
He's loyal to a fault, though.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I feel sorry for him. He's wasted his prime in Portland, and never been on any better than
exactly, JJ. That was all on him.
Hey, I was definitely about to pull an Eric Wilson and boot you, Dom. Man, yo.
I ain't Michael Carrot-Tenuto. You ain't booting me.
I think that goes to Jahan's point. And I think that
you don't want to be Michael Carrot-Tenuto. I just want to say that to you, Dom.
Exactly.
You could be better.
I think that goes to Jahan's
we don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, you could be better.
He made about, you know,
did you guys enjoy that debate last night?
That's football related. But when you say something and that thing that you were doing, like being loyal to a team, doesn't work out, I don't have sympathy for you if you get upset and wanting to be a victim or something.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You chose to stay.
Right.
And this is the
it's like one of those friends that does you a favor and bitches about it afterwards.
Exactly. You can't get y'all the same
We
ones.
cheers in, Jahan?
Yeah.
Cheers, because he was talking. Jahan was talking about the whole
drinking a Red Bull.
We're not going to talk about that.
Where's
That's
your liquor
type situation. But my point is, at the end of the day, is we're in a different NBA. This is not the NBA where you stay in a team for 8, 9, 20 years and continue to retire. Players do go and try to get after
for that.
Look at what Chris Paul went to go play with Devin Booker. He got over there. James Harden went to go with Embiid. So if you decide to stand your ground, because he doubled down on being loyal, he doubled down on it. So if you double down on it,
it's kind of like Bradley Beal.
Don't get mad if you're going to be looked at as the Charles Barkley and not the better player that you are because you decided.
Hey man,
Charles Barkley's a really good
There's
player,
something
man.
to be said about loyalty, though. There's something to be said about loyalty.
There is, but you can't be loyal and then bitch about it after the fact.
No, but there's something to be
the
said.
problem.
Well, actually, I mean,
the problem is he's so vocal. The problem is he's so vocal. That's the problem. Like Dame Lillard isn't just being loyal and then fine when his team is ass like they've been all season.
And to be honest with you, let's be very clear. Let's be very clear about Dame Lillard. When you face that Pelicans team where they beat you out 4-1, Rondo and Drew Holiday locked you up and locked you up some kind of bad. So if you're going to sit here and say you need this, you want this, you did not handle
he's more right than wrong.
Those guys.
Drew Holiday is a phenomenal defender.
Exactly.
I would enjoy watching it. I would love to have him, but
when you're on the level that Dame usually is, Like, good offense should beat good defense in a situation like that. Like, you should be able to overcome even a lockdown defender if you want to be mentioned in the category that Dame is usually mentioned in.
So let me ask you a question. In terms of point guards, Dame and Kyrie, are they on the same level?
Absolutely.
So what happened when Kyrie faced what's it called? Rajon Rondo the other day? Cooked him.
Well,
So if you are
Rajon
going to sit here,
70 years
I could
old,
see
though.
if you were going.
Yeah, that was like 5 years ago.
I could see if it was a 6 or 7 game series in that year where they got blown out by the Pelicans. They got blown out in 5 games. So you need to take accountability for yourself and realize that if you really want to be respected and be the guy to be loyal and get yourself a thing, you got to realize that you have to bring it. And sometimes you don't always bring it.
Dame Lillard has had like 2 or 3 remarkable, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 remarkable playoff series. And it's like, there's kind of no in between with him when you get to the playoffs. He's either amazing or it's like, oh, wow, he's an elite player and he just got shut the F down.
All right. So
he's wasting away he's wasting away in Portland, and he should be blaming himself.
I agree with Megan on that one. I think Kyrie has the better handles, but Jay, as far as shooting, I think Dame's right. I think Dame's right there with Kyrie, if not better.
I think Dame's a better shooter than Kyrie.
Yeah, Dame's a great shooter. Dame's a great shooter.
I will go on and say, I think if I need to get that shot to win the game, I will kind of go with Kyrie over Dame.
No way.
I don't know.
No way.
For the
simple
fact of matter
I'm
is,
definitely gonna go with Dame in that situation.
Dame's a better shooter.
Because Dame's
Kyrie hit a bigger shot.
No, I like Dame. I think.
Have we ever said Kyrie time?
We've never said
Kyrie time.
I'm not for this whole victim role, as if you had nothing to play into.
Hey, I get it.
As why your team has failed.
I get the whole thing you saying like about the victim role. You can't play the victim. I get that. But all that aside, when you step on the court of basketball, I got 1 shot left, and you telling me you can either have Kyrie take it or you can have Damian Lillard take it. Get that ball to Dame time, baby.
Dame time.
Give that ball to Dame time.
Kyrie.
Yes, sir.
Kyrie hit the bigger shot because it was in the finals, but Dame has hit more big shots overall.
And Dame has been the guy for a long time.
You, the way I see
and had to make the shots.
When you're at the finals, the highest of highest, the end of it all, the biggest stage, and not to mention.
Well, we don't know if James ever going to be there.
Not to mention,
right? You can't fault him for not getting there. Now, if he got there and didn't do it, that's one thing. But you can't fault him for not getting there.
I don't even look at that biggest shot as the clutchest play for him. He got the offensive rebound that forced the foul from Iguodala and them to allow them to seal the thing. I will take Kyrie over Dame in the clutch situation because in the highest of high, knowing that shot was not the best shot, but you nailed it. That shows the ice in your veins. Kyrie and Dame, I will get. You can take Dame. I'm taking Kyrie.
I will.
All right.
I will definitely take Dame.
I'll take the champion.
On that note, let's talk about these current matchups that's set in these playoffs.
Oh God, jeez.
Jazz Mavericks. Who we taking? Jazz
I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna just take the Mavs.
Jazz.
I'll take the Mavs.
Because Luka hurt too. Nah, let me go ahead and get the Jazz. Let me run it with the Jazz.
Luka has a calf sprain.
I'm gonna take the Mavericks because me and Dom on the same page. I think bringing Spencer Dinwiddie is for a situation like this. Your star player.
I don't want to take either of them, to be honest. But I'll take them.
You have to take one. Right. That's what I'm saying. You got to take one. So I'm gonna take the one where everybody healthy.
I honestly think the Jazz locker room is imploding. We just haven't seen it yet because they have slipped away leads. They have lost games that you would never have expected. I think Spencer Dinwiddie, when Luka had issues and he was struggling in the game, picked up the slack. That is the very definition of Spencer Dinwiddie, and I don't really think this Jazz team is well together and cohesive as their record may suggest. I honestly think this team is imploding. And I will still take the Mavericks with Spencer Dinwiddie, Jalen Brunson, Dwight Powell, Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock, because Dodo
had a great season.
Because Dodo,
I will not take
Dodo has locked up Donovan Mitchell. And Jordan Clarkson is too up and down to get you to really trust that he's going to pick up the slack if Donovan is there. I got the Mavericks.
JJ's got a whole thing for it. I was just going to say I'm going to take the Mavericks, but it could go either way. I don't like either of these teams. Both of these, whoever wins this series is just going to get bounced pretty quick the next round.
Pretty much.
I think
Pretty much.
Of note, though, Mavs have not made it out of the first round since they won the title in 2011.
True.
What has the Jazz
and that ends
Hasn't
this
the
year.
Jazz have the same issues? Isn't that the problem with the Jazz? Because you can't believe in them because they get a good record, but they can't get out the first round. They lost to Oklahoma City.
They can get out.
Hey, it's just like the
They can
80s
get out
and
of the
90s
first, but they can't get out of
Jazz.
the second.
Whole bunch of regular season wins. They're not doing dick in the playoffs.
Just like who?
The 80s and 90s Jazz.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, they got to a couple finals, but underachieved for what their record showed.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan, unlike LeBron, stopped
wasn't
other superstars
wasn't
from
John
getting titles.
Stockton's fault. He played in almost every fucking game, so it wasn't his fault, man.
Yo. All right, next matchup, Wolves Grizzlies. Who y'all got?
Wow. I think obviously I think the Grizzlies win, but
Yes.
I think the Wolves will at least compete in the series. I think
I
they
agree.
might. I think they win 2 games possibly, but I'm picking the Grizzlies. John Morant, best player on the
Yeah, I
court.
go Grizzlies in 6.
I say Grizzlies in 6.
I got
think that's
Grizzlies.
a fun.
Yeah.
I think that's a
Same.
I
fun
got
series,
Grizzlies.
though. I think
I
that's a
got
fun
Grizzlies in
series.
7. I got Grizzlies in 7.
Oh,
I
okay.
honestly believe.
Okay.
I think what I realized
I
about
don't
this
hate that.
Minnesota Timberwolves team
Magan got 5.
is
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
going to
nigga.
say 5,
Oh.
5, 6 at the most. I'm
so
thinking
like
5.
I do. One thing I will say is I think we got caught up in the media about this team. I do think the Memphis Grizzlies are a good team, but I will say is if you really want to see if you are ready to make a championship run, I think whether it was the Clippers or the Timberwolves, this was the perfect first round matchup because you will be pushed to the brink because the top 2 candidates for Coach of the Year, in my opinion, are in that matchup: Taylor Jenkins and Chris Finch. I think at the end of the day, what's going to happen is Karl Anthony Towns,
Monty Williams won it again, right?
he most likely will. But I think
He
it
did.
should go to Taylor Jenkins or Chris Finch because Chris Finch got them up 25 more wins than they had last year. And I think Karl Anthony Towns, if he can get on the perimeter and bring Steven Adams out, that'll make it easier for D'Lo and make it easier for Ant Edwards.
Yeah, I
and then
think
Malik
Edwards.
Beasley.
I think Edwards is going to have like one or 2 of these games. Edwards is going to explode, is what I think. I think he's
Right.
going to go out there and drop a 40 piece or something.
But see, Megan, I'm not talking about being soft. If you're on the perimeter, and I think we get caught up in the whole being soft or not being soft thing. If you're on the perimeter hitting shots and you have make somebody come out there that is an effective rim protector, that makes it easier. They're a pick and roll team, and they like to pick and roll with Ant Edwards and get to the basket. And if he's getting clogged up, he looks for a shooter like Malik Beasley, and they're like looking for this. At the end of the day, I can honestly see Cat being effective enough to get
Defense
on the
doesn't matter in the
perimeter.
playoffs.
And even then, if you're Steven Adams,
Sorry,
and you
James
see,
Harden.
and you see
Defense
Cat,
matters.
if you're Steven Adams, if you see Steven Adams and you see Cat on the perimeter, are you going to sit there and let him shoot that shit, or are you going to go out there with him? The whole point of being Cat out there means
you
that
can just make
can't
adjustments,
sit there
right?
and
It's a
let him
7-day
do it.
series.
I
If you
just
shouldn't
wanna
have been
know
doing it, you just make an
something, though.
adjustment.
I just want to.
You shouldn't let them do that for 7 games, or you shouldn't be a coach in the NBA.
The Grizzlies. The Grizzlies.
I got
and
you.
The Grizzlies and the Wolves split the season series 2-2 this year, and
4-2 Grizzlies. I'm with Cool on that one.
and
Me too.
their last 101 regular season matchups, it is 51-50.
51-50, mentally insane.
Cheers to you, Megan.
Just want to note that.
Cheers
right
to
there.
you.
Cheers to you, Meg.
I'm just gonna hit this a million times.
I
This
don't
is
know.
what I call a Sabi special.
I'm excited to see
What?
what the
You got
with the
that? You got that
trio-
wonton
The
soup can
wonton.
the wonton
container? Look at that. You got that at JJ's a what? A Panda Express guy? You get that right there from there?
And
Panda Express container.
as much as I would love to see the Timberwolves do it, I'm gonna have to go with the Grizz.
I'm not saying that they're going to do it, but it's going to be a lot more competitive than they think.
Yeah, I'm with JJ
6
on
games
that. I think the
competitive?
Timberwolves will compete in this series.
6
I do.
games is respectable.
Really compatible. Yeah. What do you mean?
7.
All right. Next
7.
matchup, y'all. Raptors Sixers. I think this is the
Woo!
most intriguing matchup of the first round.
This is going 7.
I think it's the
Ooh.
most intriguing of the first round. I think the Raptors can absolutely pull this upset.
I do too.
I also think
Yeah.
like it's got so much going on. You have a scoring champion in Joel Embiid. You have a former scoring champion in James
It won't be
Harden.
no gentleman sweep, Megan, and I will surely text you.
I definitely think. You know what? I'm gonna say my pick. Go ahead, cool. You first. Go ahead.
Oh
Cool.
wow, you're just gonna go last in all of them, John?
Toronto in 7.
Who?
Toronto
in
7.
7.
They're going to neutralize Embiid enough in the post because that's a strength of theirs defensively to force everyone else to play. And we know that, unfortunately, Philadelphia went and got the choke orders himself. And this is going to be an opportunity for him to show us all that he's still a choker. And he's going to not disappoint us. Toronto in 7.
Are you talking about Costanza in a pool?
Come on, man.
However you want to put it, Dom. I'm gonna leave it to you.
Man.
Just call him playoff Harden.
That's already taken up.
I still
You know
think
what I'm
the
saying?
Sixers win the series. I don't know why y'all are so hype on Toronto.
I'm not hype on Toronto.
Toronto has done
I'm just less hype
approximately
on the
two.
Sixers.
Toronto has done approximately 2 things in their playoff history without Kawhi Leonard. You know what those 2 things are?
Make the conference finals.
Jack and shit.
Make the conference finals. They made the conference
Granted,
finals.
they're not as high of a seed as they've been in because usually that's playoff poison for Toronto because the hallmark of Toronto for about 5-6 years was win 50 to 55 games in the regular season and then crap out in the playoffs.
What Megan said is the deciding factor here, in my opinion. You cannot play everyone if they're. I got Raptors honestly in 6. I have Raptors in 6 because I do think that's
a hot take. Where's John Shearer when you need him?
If there's a team outside the Nets that I will say is one of the most difficult matchups for any team, it's the Toronto Raptors. Because with the emergence of Scotty Barnes, who can shoot the 3, who can be able to space the floor, and you have to look at it like this: Pascal Siakam or Tobias Harris. I'm going Siakam every day. Fred VanVleet or Tyrese Maxey. Because of the championship pedigree, I'm going FVV. And at the end of the day, they're a well-coached
Shout out to the Shockers.
Gary Trent Jr., because he went for 42 the other day. And
I don't know. I like Maxey a lot. I think Maxey can ball.
So the one thing I will say, James Harden in these
I think
matchups,
it would be
James Harden in these matchups averaged under 35% shooting-wise. And he was being guarded by mainly Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr. I honestly think with this team and having the vaccine mandate, not that I think it honestly matters, because I think if they had a full-strength Philly up there,
I think this series can go either way.
in 6. I still got Raptors in 6. I have the Raptors, honestly, a sleeper to get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Not that the playoffs factor into the MVP race, but if the Sixers lose this series, that's why Joel Embiid is not the MVP. Even though it doesn't factor in.
I won't say that.
Who, me?
I won't say Joel Embiid is not the MVP.
I
won't say that's going to be a knock on him because he does bring it every game. He brings it every freaking game. It's the guy you traded for that doesn't bring it every game.
JJ, are you a Raptors fan?
No, I love team offense. I love.
He's a Washington Raptors fan.
Man, I think this series.
What's a Raptors fan?
If you were to sit there and say, "Have I won some money because I've taken some Raptors?" I won't deny it.
Okay.
I won't. But
I
just one thing I've realized about the Sixers, and not just watching them play against other teams, but watching them play against my team. You let Embiid get his and shut everybody else down, you can win.
That's easier said than done.
No, it's actually really. We beat them twice because we let Embiid go. We let Embiid go off, but nobody else got over.
Yeah,
Harden got shut down.
James Harden is capable of a 30-point triple-double.
No, he did not.
In the regular season.
We let
Exactly.
We let Embiid get off, but trust and believe. If you
a 30-point triple-double in the playoffs for Harden is like 18, 7 boards, and 4 assists.
And then again, I've watched this from Harden.
Joseph. We know you got the Raptors. Who Tyler got, man?
Jeez, my goodness.
I'm a
You're
little
passionate about
tipsy.
this.
I'm a little tipsy like the sip off is. Chill out.
Or any other
Um,
Megan, or any other playoffs.
Okay,
Wouldn't count.
so
Rome. Let's go.
okay, so I think this is gonna be a really good series. It could go either way. JJ made a good point. The Raptors and Megan too. I think she picked the Raptors too. The Raptors could win this series. I'm not saying they can't. I'm gonna pick the Sixers to win this in 7. I think this is gonna be a long series. I actually don't have either of these teams getting through the next round, to be completely honest. I think they can, but I don't think they're gonna. I've heard Eric Wilson say Philly, book it. I've heard book it at least 100,000 times about the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know if that's necessarily a guarantee the way they're playing, but I do like Maxey. I'm going to pick the Sixers, but I'll go 7.
Okay.
Joe, did you pour any mixer in that cup, or is it just vodka and ice?
It's called the Sabi Special. I really don't know what's in it. I just tell her to make it and then let me drink it. Okay?
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I can definitely see 7 games.
I'm gonna go
Either way.
Sixers and 6.
Why?
Sixers and 6.
Why?
Okay.
I'm with you, Jahan.
Sixers and 6. I think Harden and Embiid are gonna get to the line this series. I think
Maxey, if anything.
They're gonna
Harden won't be getting to the line. That doesn't happen in the playoffs.
Nah, they're gonna get to the
He
line.
He doesn't get those cheap whistles. That's why he shrinks.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Like a dick.
they're gonna get him. They're gonna
In a
get
pool.
him this round.
Down with the
Nuggets Warriors
With the-
next series, y'all. Nuggets Warriors. I'm going Dubs in 6. Steph Curry is slated to return game 1. Dubs in 6.
Go ahead, Cool. You're going
they
second.
fully
I'm going
healthy?
last.
No, you're
last
going
on this
second,
one.
Cool. Go ahead.
I'm going last on this one.
All right,
Yeah.
cool said
All right.
go last.
All right, Cool. Go again. You're second. Go ahead.
All right, I'm going last.
I'll go. It'll be quick. Are the Warriors fully healthy?
The Warriors will. Steph Curry is slated to play game 1.
Yeah, Steph's gonna play.
Yeah, it's Dubs in 6. I mean, come on.
I got Dubs at 7 because I think there's something to be said for Jokic being the difference maker on his team compared to, with the Warriors. Now, I will give the Warriors credit because the Warriors.
Joe was just saying every series goes to 7 games, so he's got more games to bet on. That's all it is.
First of all, Dom, don't be playing me like that, okay? Let's not do that.
I'm not playing you. Calling it like I see it.
Does that mean I have a
worried
chance
about
to probably
you.
win
Hang
more
on,
money?
hang on.
Does that mean I have a chance to win more
JJ
money?
be getting mad.
Maybe.
Come on, Draymond. I need 6 more points, 3 more rebounds. Come on, bro.
No, but honestly, and real talk, Jordan Poole is a baller. Jordan Poole is
nice.
somebody that honestly, right now, I think he is their number 2 scoring option after Steph Curry.
Are both teams full health right now?
You said what?
Are both teams at full health right now?
No, sir.
1-800-522-4700. I almost knew it by heart. I don't have a game. That's
the reason why I say the Warriors. Because
if someone
I think,
has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
I think we're seeing a very serious next star in the making Splash Bros to Splash Trio because Jordan has it. Jordan is a killer. Jordan is somebody that knows he can hit the shot and he can do it. Now, is his hand 100% healed?
I just want to say Joseph has a player in every series that he loves.
Of course. Absolutely. You know what? Because
Go ahead, Tyler. Who'd you pick?
I love the future of the NBA because I think they're in good hands with a lot of these up-and-coming guys. Jordan Poole is the same guy he is now as he was in Michigan. And he was the reason why they helped him get to that Final Four and the national championship when they unfortunately fell to Louisville. But he is a baller.
My God,
the
JJ, you can have your own show,
thing
bro.
that happened to Jordan Poole's career was Klay Thompson's extended absence.
I think it's 6. I think I'll pick the Warriors in 6. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. McCain.
So Jamal Murray might return in this series.
If he would.
I don't think it makes a difference because at the end of the day, He hasn't been with the team for most of the year, and if you're trying to come back in the playoffs, you might as well sit at home. I said this on
That's what
the
I said about
carousel a few
Zion.
weeks ago. Like, when you get to this point, if you haven't been able to hit the floor and get some reps in, there's no point in you coming back to the team. Golden State's a much better team. They have their guys. Hopefully Denver will put up a fight and we can take it to 6. But I don't care. Whatever's whatever. The better team's going to win this series, and unfortunately, it's going to be Golden State, especially if
I'll
Steph's
look for
playing.
you on the couch with us.
It's gonna happen to
about
my
2
team
weeks.
too. Cool. So I feel for you.
Hey,
Come join the
It's
couch.
gonna
Joe.
happen to my team too.
Hey, Joe.
so-
We get the premium couch because we actually made the playoffs. You get like
I
the
mean,
bottom
that's
level couch.
fine. You're still going to be
With-
on the couch.
You get the
Yeah,
bottom level,
that's
like
okay.
the
You're-
leather
you're on
couch.
The team's been on the
With
couch
the,
for so many
with the
years.
crack
There's a
stuff,
permanent
yeah.
ass groove.
You see where I'm
JJ
sitting?
JJ and Dom are on the floor in sleeping bags. Actually, we actually have mattresses, but
right.
Oh no, I've
Tyler,
got a
Tyler,
permanent spot
I'm
on the
very-
couch. Like I
I'm
said,
very
with ass
cool with you.
grooves.
Next
I'm very-
matchup.
I'm very
Next
much-
matchup, y'all.
I love you like
Every
a brother.
sport.
I really do. But if you keep coming at me, if you keep,
Next matchup. Nets Celtics. Nets Celtics.
oh man,
I already told you
guys
what
already
was good with
picked
me on this one.
didn't you?
Yeah,
Didn't you
I
guys
already
already
said
pick
yeah,
this?
we picked it.
Nah, we ain't talking about it. But
No, we
Who
didn't.
hostess
No, we were talking about the
hostess with the
we were
most
talking about the
Nets.
playing game.
yeah,
I was like finishing up my dinner, listening to you guys talk about this. I'm
Listen,
pretty sure.
Nets.
Nets Celtics, man.
Nets.
Kyrie was perfect in the first half the other night, and that is the reason this week why he got on Megan's nerves.
He kind of gets on me and Megan are on the same page on that. I'm
I
not a
can't.
Kyrie
Y'all-
supporter
y'all-
either,
y'all
man.
know how I feel about Kyrie.
How
I love,
healthy
Simple
is
I
Nets.
love
Marcus?
Kyrie Irving. I
How
love
healthy
Kyrie
It
is
ain't
Irving.
got to be a lot
Marcus Smart?
said.
How
Nets.
healthy is Marcus Smart?
I'm gonna pick the Celtics in 7 to be different.
Stop this.
I'm picking the C's. And
Stop
Nets.
the
Nets.
nonsense.
And Cliff Batts, by the way, you guys all know Cliff Batts. Cliff Batts is picking the Celtics to win the East.
Ooh.
He's got Phoenix and Boston in the final.
I mean, they are finally healthy
One
for
of
the
those
first
are
time in like
definitely wrong.
5 years.
yeah, what? Well, Phoenix not a tear, but
All
Go ahead.
right. I got the Nets have been my pick.
yeah, we know. Tell us why
Nets-
you love. Tell us why
Nets
you
in
picking
6.
KD.
Nets in 6. Nets in 6.
Okay.
All right.
Enough
Last
said.
first round secured matchup. Bulls and Bucks. Defending champs looking to defend the crown. Tyler, you want to go last?
Yeah,
Well,
I'll go
you know,
last.
I
Bucks
feel
in
really,
Bucks
I
in
feel
3.
really-
They win 3 games, and Chicago's like, never mind.
I feel
You
really
just said Bucks in
bad
3.
for saying this because I love Tyler. Tyler is an amazing person. He's an amazing guy. He's awesome. He's reassuring. He's positive. I just see if there's a one sweep,
Yeah.
I honestly think this is it because
Bucks
there's
in
just
3.
they just don't have.
Bucks in 3, man. Jeez,
enough.
shut the fuck up, Tyler. God damn, man.
No, but honestly,
Bucks
on a
in
real
3?
on
You
a
haven't
real
made the,
take-
you haven't made the
3
playoffs
games
in
and the Bulls
4
are-
years, and this
on a
man's over
real
here like
take,
3. Yeah, I
the
got
real,
him at 3.
the real reason
You told me
is-
yourself you were going to lose and
real-
probably get swept. It's the
real
Bucks.
reason is
It's bullshit though,
the real
because
reason is I have not liked what I've seen from Vucevic
Oh, me
in the
either.
last month.
Get him the fuck
And you
out of
have
there.
Bobby Portis and Brooke Lopez
Soft-ass
to
motherfucker.
throw at you. I'm just not.
Megan.
I do have the Bucks as the prohibitive favorite to possibly win the East.
Hey, I appreciate that one. That
And
one
I just-
Dubsky, Megan.
I love DeRozan. I don't think like Zach LaVine is healthy. Zach
Yeah, he's
LaVine's
not.
back issues is a huge deal.
and knee. Yeah.
I think, and I
no
feel-
Lonzo.
I feel so
that hurts
bad
a lot.
for saying this, Tyler. I love you, but I
No,
honestly think
Milwaukee's
sweep.
Milwaukee could win the whole thing again.
Milwaukee
is
in 5.
So good.
What is that
Yeah,
icon?
I'm-
That's
Hey, I
the
appreciate it. Cool. Yeah,
Yeah, Bucks in 5.
I was gonna say that too. I think DeMar snaps in one of these games, so I'll say
Yeah.
gentleman sweep for the Bucks. The Bucks are the better team. If Lonzo was playing in this game or playing in this series, I could see the Bulls possibly going 6. But without Lonzo, they don't play the same. They need to get Vucevic out there in the offseason. But I'll see DeMar snaps one game. I'll go Bucks in 5. I'm a realist.
I agree
I'm a
with that.
realist.
I hope that the freaking Bucks lose every game.
I mean, me
Number-
too. Well,
number
no.
one, number
I mean,
one,
me
they,
too.
they
I mean, me
tanked.
too. But
They tanked to avoid the Nets in the first round.
Oh, did they tank? Was
yeah.
it a tank or? So let me remind you of something because I was ready for someone to come up with that asinine, incorrect, and disrespectful statement. Milwaukee played the very first game that day. So if Boston didn't want to be number 2, all Boston had to do was rest their players because Milwaukee played the very first game that day.
Yeah, but
So
they
how is
knew
that tanking?
they
How is
It's
that
a
tanking?
tank.
They
Let's
didn't
call
want-
it. Let's call it what it is.
Everybody else had the
It wasn't
opportunity
a
to say,
slick
you know
move
what?
on the chessboard. It was a
So,
tank.
I
We're
don't
gonna
think-
chill.
I don't think
They didn't
it was
know
one of those-
if Boston was gonna win. They didn't know if other teams were gonna win because they played first. What they decided was we're going into the playoffs. We need to rest our guys because we have a lot of guys who are banged up.
I do
So,
not think. To your point, I don't think they
your
were. I don't-
fandom prevents you from being unbiased.
No, I'm not a
I
fan
don't
of the
think-
Bucks. I
I
cover the
don't
Bucks.
think they
I'm a
were
fan of the
scared.
Nuggets. So
I
there was
don't think
fandom
they
involved. It
were-
would be with the Nuggets.
I don't think they were
You
scared.
got so many teams I can't keep them straight. It's like
No,
I
you
don't
just
and
two.
Jahan
Just
are
the one I
same
cover
guy.
and the one I've been a fan of since I was 5. Just those two.
I don't think they were scared of the Nets. I just think when they saw their first round matchups, they'd rather not try to have to go to a 7-game series with a team like them and go no shade to a team that they feel like they had a better matchup for.
But answer me this. You say that, but again, Boston could have said, you know what, we don't want to play them, so
No,
we're
I
going to rest
respect
our
Boston.
guys.
No, I respect
So what I'm
because
saying
Boston,
is,
no,
what
I
I'm saying
respect
is,
Boston because Boston said, you know
we're
what?
acting as if
No, hold on.
the
I respect
Bucks
Boston
played
'cause they're
at the
not-
very
they-
end
they
of the
said-
night,
I
11
respect-
o'clock game, and said we're going to rest our players. No,
I'm
they
with
played
Jahan.
first and
I
said
respect
we
Boston
chilling.
because Boston said
Y'all can chill
I
if you
don't-
want to. You can
I
put your players out
respect-
there.
I respect Boston because they
We
said
chilling.
I don't care who's get that 7 seed. I'm not worried about the Nets. We can take
All
them to 7 if we need to. I honestly think Giannis needs 40 plus just to beat them in overtime. So
Closing.
to have that as your first game, your
Buddy, that
first
doesn't.
series,
Buddy,
I
that doesn't need to
don't
happen
think-
every time they play. Buddy,
I don't
it doesn't happen every time they play. Buddy,
I don't think.
go look at the stats
they
from all the games they
wanted-
play. Buddy,
But again, when
No.
you're playing a
but
team
your
for 7
opinion is your
games-
opinion, and that's fine.
No,
but it's
again,
wrong.
No, hold on.
It's just
I
wrong.
honestly think Jahan has merit. When you're playing a
Of course you
7-game
do.
series
Because you
against
feel the
a
same
team,
way. Anybody thinks somebody has merit and they feel
I
the same
think
way.
Jahan has.
You agree with it,
honestly
so of
think
course.
because you're sitting here, you know that 2 seed is yours. All you have to do is win. I
Not
honestly
necessarily.
think for
Not
them,
necessarily.
they're looking at it as, you know what? I know we can play with them and I know we can beat them, but I'd rather get ourselves in playoff rhythm than wait till the second round to possibly face them.
I think the Bucks sweep. But on to the WNBA draft. Shout out to the Indiana Fever for their
I like
great
it, Megan.
draft.
I like it.
Yo,
Shout out to
Good,
the
good.
Atlanta Dream for their great draft. Number 1 pick.
let's go.
You know, they had a great
And Nas
draft.
Hillman.
Hey,
Nah,
shout
Tillman.
out to my I said my favorite player in the draft was Kirsten Bell. She got picked up by the Aces with the 11th pick.
You know how I
don't
feel
like
about the Aces?
Hey, listen, she's literally they play down the street from me, man. They play like 10 minutes away from me. So I think that was a great pick for them. Of course that ain't my team. I roll with the Sky. I'm Chicago basketball to a T. Chicago basketball.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. We got 6 championships, bitch. Don't be sorry.
I'm sorry.
We just got the Sky just coming off one too. So
Gangsta pod.
You know, DT,
The real CP3.
DT in the gang.
The
about to
real
get one this year.
CP3.
DT in
Right,
the gang.
cool.
get
Real
one this
CP3.
year.
The real
real
CP3. The
The
real
ru-
CP3.
The one, the only, the real CP3.
Oh, we're not even opening that box tonight.
Don't encourage this man. None of y'all.
We're not even opening that box. Oh, also shout out
But
to the Washington Mystics
shout out to the Atlanta
and
Dream.
LA Sparks and the LA Sparks for their awesome draft that they had.
And the chimney.
As always, free Brittany Griner.
yeah,
Definitely.
What's the
I want to
status
see her
with
get out
that?
there and play.
What's the status?
Oh, by the
with
way,
that?
the Atlanta Dream
Not
will make
much.
the playoffs this year.
not much.
Just
of
want
a
to let everybody know
status.
that early.
Sadly.
I actually don't think Atlanta makes the playoffs this year.
Of course you don't. That's what I'm saying.
That's what he
If it was
said.
common knowledge, why do I need to say it?
He
It's like
said,
saying,
"Of course you
I
don't."
right.
actually don't.
It's like me.
think
It's like Jahan saying, "Ha, Go Rozzy and my favorite team are going to make the playoffs." You know they are, so there's no need for you to say it. Who's going to say they're not?
Shout out to Veronica Burton.
Yes.
Good pickup. Megan,
The
that was an
the
excellent
zombie
pickup.
shock.
She's an excellent perimeter defender.
I
Excellent.
like the Nas Hillman pickup too, by the way.
I mean, good for the
Yeah.
Fever too, getting Henderson
Highest
that
ranked,
late. You know, that
highest
late in the
ranked
draft.
Michigan player.
What'd they get her
Highest drafted Michigan
third
player.
round, right?
All
Third
time.
round. Isn't that where Henderson?
go.
No, second round.
Second
Henderson
Yeah,
round.
Hillman was second round.
Fever had the best draft. Fever had the best
Oh,
draft.
Fever
They
had a
had
great
like
draft.
30 picks. They got a whole
Yeah.
new team. Of course, they had the best draft.
I mean,
They'll definitely be better. They'll definitely be better. Yeah.
Fever had the best.
Damn
Bro,
cool.
I
It was
don't
like
know
a
if y'all
draft
saw.
for everyone else. It was like an expansion draft for the Fever.
Damn
Bro, I
Like,
don't
we
know
cool.
if
need a
y'all
whole new
saw,
roster.
but I put on there
Damn
doing the
cool.
thing.
Give
I
me
was
that
like, yo,
salt for my chicken. Good gosh.
oh, ain't no salt. Ain't no salt.
They
They
had
needed
30
it.
picks. They had a new team.
Go ahead.
Hey,
Talk
go
about
look.
go
Go look at the
talk
draft.
about your Mystics, JJ, real quick.
Yeah,
I
talk
am
about your
very
Mystics, bro.
excited for the team. Ella Deladont is coming back. She is
Atlanta.
going to be back
Atlanta.
over, and I think she's a triple-double machine. I love what
Yeah,
she
I
brings
love
to
her.
the team, and she has that championship pedigree. She was the difference maker that allowed us to win the WNBA title a couple years ago. I'm very excited to have her back because when you take a year off or you rest even more so that way you can get yourself fully healthy, I like the chances of them. I don't know if we're going to win it all. I don't know if we're going to make the playoffs, but I really love where this team is going.
I'm gonna tag in for Joseph real quick and help him
Sky
out.
repeat. Sky repeat.
The Washington Mystics had a really good draft. They drafted Shakira Austin, the center from Ole Miss,
Look
as
at
well as
John,
Kristen
so
Williams,
mad.
the guard from UConn. Those are two pieces that they're going to be able to place on their team that's going to help them be a better team than they were last year. And shout out to the Washington Mystics because without you, we wouldn't have Ryan Howard. So much love.
Yo, final shout outs, fellas. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Go ahead, Joe.
Gauntlet.
Go.
I'll go. Gauntlet
Okay.
Saturday. We're gonna start a new show called Cub Fidential. So we're gonna talk about the Chicago Cubs on Tuesday. That's a late show. That's at I believe like 11 o'clock at
11.
night. Yeah, I think it's 11 o'clock at night. And then yeah, you guys could catch me here on the sip off on Thursdays. At NBA Carousel sometimes as well.
Okay.
No cage ragers for a little bit. Take a little bit of break.
I'll hop on in here. So starting on Wednesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're going to catch me. The gentleman is moderating tonight, Jahan Phillips, Mr. James Tatum, Eric Wilson, and Wyatt
man.
Burgard
Oh man, I can't wait to see
The
this shit.
Fab
It's gonna be
Five.
a fucking bloodbath.
of Eagles on the Eagles Elite podcast.
What's it
So be on the
called?
lookout for that. Eagles
What's it
Elite.
called?
God.
LinkedIn,
What's it called?
right?
Eagles Elite, baby.
A bunch
Okay.
of biased takes and biased opinions. Oh, God.
Hey,
mean, it's-
somebody
but anyway.
saucy today.
But anyway, we talking about salt. When somebody in the middle, Mr. Denim jacket, is oozing salt like it's machismo. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's really good.
Go ahead, JJ.
But
Give your shout
but
out.
also Friday nights, it's still the same. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Play Caller Sports Talk, live interactive sports talk. It's just expanding. But the Eagles Elite, I'm telling you, for those of you that are not
karaoke and everything.
complete haters, come join us and indulge in the experience. For those that are full of salt, just drink some water and you can join us too.
Joseph, go ahead.
Well, since I
Shout out
started-
wonton soup. No, go ahead.
Since I've, you know what, Mr. J. Nelson, you know you know what?
Oh God! I
I'm gonna
wish
sit there and say
someone
this.
got the
As
clip.
As I sit here on this 14th day of April, you can find me now, since I'm starting a new job, on pretty much every show possible. NBA Carousel on Monday, the Sip Off on Thursday, the Gauntlet on Saturday, and this particular Friday, me and Mr. Eagle himself, number 1, 2, 3. There's like so many of you. I don't know. We're going to have an NBA picks show to predict the first round of the NBA playoffs. Me and James Tatum this Friday, and we're going to tune in.
Dom done got some of that JJ salt.
You need to get on NFL carousel too, JJ. You need to try and
I'd
get
love
on
to get on the NFL carousel as your beautiful.
They don't want me on the NFL carousel.
You're right, we don't.
Dominic DeRubis, where can we find you?
Mondays, Megan Price's NBA carousel. Thursdays, you'll occasionally catch me here lurking in the comments like my fellow horseman, Jay Nelson. Also on Thursdays at 7, Kneecap Biting with Smoke and Jeremy B. Saturdays, Gauntlet, Horseman. Sundays, Basket Bros. Myself, Will Vogel, Jacob Christner, and Jay Nelson. That's at 8 p.m.
Cool.
Hey, man,
Hey, that's the next show, Jay.
Jahan, where can we find you?
I'm like Visa. Everywhere
Go
you
ahead.
wanna be.
Part-time public figure.
Nah, man, not tonight. I'm
60% of the time.
For the masses.
Hey, y'all.